A painting worth $500,000, authenticated by the world's leading experts, hanging proudly in a prestigious gallery. And every single brushstroke? A lie. His name was Mark Landis, a quiet, softly spoken man from Mississippi with a gift so extraordinary it would humiliate institutions across 4 continents. For nearly 2 decades, Landis donated fake masterworks to over 200 museums across the United States. Not for money, not for fame, just because he could. But this story isn't just about Landis. It's about a system so eager to believe in beauty that it forgot to look for the truth. Mark Landis grew up obsessed with art. By his 20s, he had already mastered the styles of Picasso, Matisse, and Sheila with alarming accuracy. His technique was breathtaking, and his method was surprisingly simple. He began with old canvases, stripped of their original paint, giving him a surface that was genuinely centuries old. Then came the tea. Landis brewed strong black tea and washed it over his completed works. The tannins stained the surface, mimicking 300 years of aging in a single afternoon. He added cracked varnish. He used coffee grounds rubbed into the edges. He baked canvases in his oven to simulate decades of heat exposure. The results were extraordinary. Under normal examination, his forgeries were indistinguishable from genuine old masters. Museums accepted them as donations, gratefully, enthusiastically, without question. He posed as a Jesuit priest. He posed as a grieving son donating his late mother's art collection. He wore disguises, used fake names, and drove across state lines to deliver his works personally. Over 17 years, he donated to museums in 46 states. The Metropolitan, the Smithsonian affiliates, institutions that prided themselves on expertise. Not a single institution caught him, not once. The unraveling began with one determined woman. Mary Midbow, a registrar at the Oklahoma City Museum of Art, noticed something troubling. The same donor had given pieces to museums across the country under completely different names. She began cross-referencing, calling museums, comparing donor records. The pattern was undeniable. The same handwriting, the same style, different faces, different names, one forger. Investigators were brought in. Under UV light and infrared reflectography, the forgeries began to crack, literally. Modern synthetic pigments glowed where ancient minerals should have been. The tea stains, the baked canvas, the coffee ground edges. Up close under laboratory conditions, the aging was cosmetic, a theatrical illusion that had fooled the naked eye for nearly 2 decades. When authorities finally confronted Mark Landis, they found no criminal mastermind. They found a deeply troubled, gentle man living alone, surrounded by thousands of art books and half-finished paintings. Here was the twist that broke the case wide open. Landis had never sold a single painting. He accepted no money. Under US law, donating a forgery is not a crime. He walked free. The museums were left holding worthless fakes and a catastrophically embarrassing question. How had their experts missed this for 17 years? The answer was uncomfortable. Museums had a financial incentive to accept donations without deep scrutiny. Authentication took time and money, and no one wanted to insult a generous benefactor. Landis became something of a folk legend. A documentary was made. Art World conferences dedicated entire sessions to the scandal. His story forced a reckoning. Some of his donated works still hang in storage vaults across America, cataloged, logged, and quietly never displayed. Institutions too embarrassed to destroy them, too ashamed to show them. Mark Landis himself expressed no regret. In interviews, he described donating art as his way of connecting with the world, a man who found meaning in giving away beautiful lies. The art world tightened its authentication protocols, new technology, new oversight, all because one man with a teapot and an old canvas had exposed a century of institutional arrogance. 200 museums, 17 years, old canvas, and a cup of tea. The greatest art fraud in American history, and not a single law